My name is Ed Lash. I'm a fly tyer from Iowa, and I specialize in deer hair work. And the object today is to tie this bug. So this is the fly we tied up. We're at this stage now. And I'll try to get this fly put in the vise with the hook shank parallel with the axis of the vise. We want to comb the hair up away from where it's leaning back. I don't know if you can see it there well. Here's where these pre-trimmed butts are that we pre-trimmed when we put this skirt green and this skirt orange in. Here's where the pre-trimmed butts are. So I know this is where I have to stop trimming when I come from the front trimming to avoid cutting my skirt hairs. It's a precise way. We also know then roughly what the diameter of the back of this bug is. I like having things be predictable and reproducible. And I think doing deer hair work, the best way to do that is to have templates. And so this is a plastic template. I'm going to place this over the eye of the hook. It's going to tell me the diameter of my trimming. For a popper, it's roughly going to be the diameter of the hook gap. It can be a little bit bigger than that on a popper, if you like it to be, if you like a little chubbier bug. On a slider, I'd make it a little smaller than the hook gap. You can get an artist triangle at an art store or a place like Hobby Lobby, and it has holes of different diameters on that triangle. And so you can measure the gap of the hook and determine how big you want the face of your popper to be. And then this is a piece of plastic from a portfolio. I've got plastic in my little template collection from Tide laundry bottles, from milk jugs, things like that. And then you cut a little slot in for the eye of the hook, place it over the eye of the hook. And I'll usually clean up the tools that I'm tying with at this juncture that I won't need for trimming. We want to use a medium-sized, straight scissor. These are anvil scissors. They are not good hair scissors for getting in and rooting out big clumps of hair, but they're wonderful scissors for trimming. These are years old, and I think you'll see that they're still sharp and doing their job. So we're simply going to go around straight, and then I'm going to angle my trimming back in toward those little butts near the skirt of the fly. Straight, angle in. And you're going to see the colors of this fly begin to pop. My wife loves to, when we go around to shows, she likes to watch the hair fly up in the air. When she thinks that's cool. I don't think it's very cool, because I have to clean it up every day. And it's a manageable task. I usually clean up after every 1 to 2 bugs. So I'm going around. And this gives us, as Wayne Sampson said on one video, kind of a square block of wood to work with. So it's a good starting point to fine-tune our trimming, and I know that tomorrow, when I trim this bug that we just tied, that it's going to be the same size as this one. And my clients know that when they order size 1/0 bugs or whatever in this fire tiger type color, that they're going to be roughly the same size. So it works. I'm going to trim these little butts I do this gently. If you get in and dig your scissor way underneath the deer hair here and push, it seems to create a ragged border at the end of the fly when the trimming's being wrapped up at the end. Okay, so a lot of the scissor phase is being completed. Next, I use a double edge razor blade. The single edge razor blades with the straight back don't work very well here. Be careful with these things. If you use them long enough, you're going to cut yourself. I have done that a number of times. I've never cut myself badly. I break these so that I don't have to contend with two sharp edges. Only one when I do my trimming. Most of my trimming I do with a bent blade, a curved blade, rather than a straight blade. You can do some trimming with the straight blade, but I find I'm more accurate with a curved blade. And I'll start at the 12 o'clock position on the bug, and you want to go light pressure. And we'll start and we'll go around. And very quickly the colors and the shape begin to take place, or begin to take shape. I didn't say that very well. I'm concentrating on this rather than on what I'm saying. So, again, the most frequently asked question I get at shows is, how do you get your bugs so tight? And this is part of the answer right here. I trim them down. If they're big, diameter furry bugs, they don't look as tight as if they're compact bugs that have refined, precise trimming. Now I'm going to take this template and I'm going to turn it around horizontally, and the reason why is that the hole in the center of this thing is never perfectly centered. So that means that our cut on the front always has to be a little bit asymmetrical. And so I turn it around horizontally, and then we take the razor blade, cup it, and we go around again and even up our trimming. So bugs that are tied with a thread base where you can use moderate bunches of hair, you push the hair back and it stays there. And then bugs that are trimmed down like this are tight. They're really attractive. So I've gone around this bug a couple times. Looks a little bit big here. And I'm getting the shape dialed in. I think we're getting close. At this stage then, I'll take it out of the vise and I'll look at it and see if there's any high spots that need to be trimmed down. Can't do anything about the low spots. I'm a little bit high right through here. So we'll put it back in and trim that down. Now, do poppers need to have to be need to have to be? Do poppers need to be trimmed precisely? No. I think it's better if they are, but they don't need to be because they're fished slowly for the most part. But if you're going to get a bug, like some of the sliders and minnow patterns that I prefer to fish fast, they need to be trimmed precisely. Because if they're asymmetrical, when you strip them, they're going to go to the side, kind of like a fishing lure that's not out of in proper tune does. So if you're going to fish bugs slow, you don't have to be so fussy about symmetry. But if you're going to fish them fast, you need to be very fussy about symmetry if you want them to fish straight. Just like having a Rapala out of tune. I like to fish some of my bugs like I used to fish Rapalas with spinning gear. It's called twitching, where you cast up over a shallow area and twitch, 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 let it float, twitch, twitch, twitch. And I fish sliders a lot that way, and they need to be trimmed symmetrically. So we've gotten this bug pretty well trimmed out. It's pretty symmetrical. We're at the point where I think we can stop that phase of the work. Now what we want to do is trim the belly of the fly. You can leave it round like that. This is the belly. If you want to, the popper face round. I don't like to do that, so I'm going to trim this popper face. I want to leave plenty of hair on the bottom of the hook. I'll trim it at approximately that place right there. So I'm going to look right down at where the hook point is and the gap and where the eye of the hook is and get that lined up. And I'm not pushing very hard here. Remember, your fingers are back there. And so we've trimmed the belly of the fly. So you can see the side profile now. And that looks pretty nice from the side. Does it look good from the front? Pretty good. Little adjustments. And then I'll round off these corners. Pretty light touch. Check that the taper at the back of the fly is symmetrical. It's looking pretty good. Put the fly back in the vise. This baby's about done. And then we want to go around this back skirt and just even these hairs up. So that it looks neat and trim. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about these skirts. If you get a lot of hair in the skirt of the fly and the hair is long, okay? So you get a lot of hair in this skirt and it's sticking out at the sides of the fly. Every single one of those little hair points can grab surface tension on the water and hold the fly hostage to whatever position that it lands in. So your fly will have better performance if you don't have a lot of hairs in this skirt back here. You can see this skirt is still attractive. It's very pretty. It's nice. It covers up our thread wraps that we use for the tail. It's a nice transition between the tail and the body of the bug. It's nice. But there's not a whole lot of hair here because I don't want this to control this entire fly.